Adidas presents MLS Cup 2007 live from RFK Stadium in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. 40,000 fans expected today to witness the crowning of Major League Soccer's 12th champion. Conditions, well, weather will not affect the outcome of this one. Temperatures in the mid-50s, no rain in sight, sun coming down, beautiful conditions for a title game in Washington, D.C. And we're about set for kickoff. Tons of storylines in this game. Julie and I couldn't get to all of them, so we sent it upstairs to two guys who are going to finish up our act. Dave O'Brien, Eric Winalda. Guys, have a great call. We'll see you again at halftime.
Rob, thank you very much, and our thanks to Placido Domingo. He just knocked it right out of the park. Julie Foudy will also be joining us for the game broadcast coming up in just a bit. Eric, while New England is sound and very healthy defensively, in fact, could not be in better shape coming into the final, that is not the case with Houston. They are missing two All-Stars today, and Ricardo Clark, he is suspended, and Brian Ching, who is out with a calf strain, but they do have Dwayne De Rosario.
They got Dero. Let me tell you something. Let me give you the Adidas flashback. Usually when we show flashbacks, it's usually one thing. I would argue the point that this guy's responsible for four of the greatest moments this league's ever seen. It doesn't matter if it's an overtime goal to win the championship or just a goal of the year from the field or from... Look at this free kick. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. This guy loves to dance, man, and he loves the big moments, and he's coming into this one healthy. This is his goal against Chelsea. The guy just loves the big moments. He's coming in healthy, and we might see the Dero dance again today.
De Rosario is the constant, but as we turn to Alan Hopkins on the pitch, Alan, Houston turned to a couple of midseason pickups in Jaqua and Nguyen to energize this offense.
They did, Dave, and good afternoon. And Houston would not be 90 minutes away from their second consecutive MLS Cup if not for Joseph Nguyen and Nate Jaqua, who scored 7 and 6 goals respectively for Houston. In fact, they're the first set of teammates in MLS history to score at least 5 goals each after starting the season with different teams. But their task today, Dave, is a big one. They're trying to score against the New England Revolution defense that has yet to allow a goal in the playoffs. It should be a very good game, Dave.
Thanks, Alan. Let's get you now to the Houston starting lineup for the championship, brought to you by Adidas.
Pat Onstead, the University of British Columbia.
Craig Weibel, University of Washington. Eddie Robinson, University of North Carolina. Ryan, keep it classy, Cochrane.
Wade Barrett, College of William & Mary.
Brian Mullen, Creighton University.
Richard Mulrooney, Memphis, Tennessee.
Brad Davis, St. Louis University, 24 credits.
Dwayne De Rosario, Scarborough, Ontario, Canada.
Joseph Nguyen, Coastal Carolina University.
Nate Jaqua, University of Portland.
A look at Dominic Kinnear, the Houston coach, the native of Glasgow, Scotland. He has known the joy of winning the MLS Cup. A victory today would put him in some rarefied air among soccer coaches in the United States. Steve Nicol, 3 times before he has taken the Revolution to the MLS Cup. 3 times he has come away deeply disappointed. Will today be the day for New England and Steve Nicol finally to raise that cup in celebration? And there's Matt Reese, certainly a key, the goalkeeper today for New England and one of the very best around.
He is, and the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, he's had a great playoff run, but speaking of both coaches, and we just saw them, their attitude is very different coming into this game. It's going to come down to Matt Reese. If he makes the saves, they might finally kiss the hardware.
A look at today's starting lineups now for the champions of the Eastern Conference, the New England Revolution.
Matt Reese, Mission Viejo, California. We're just trying to win one. Oh.
Jay Heaps from Duke University. Really need to win this MLS Cup.
Michael Parkhurst, Wake Forest University.
Avery Dunn, Vancouver, Trinidad and Tobago.
Wells Thompson from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Jeff Lorenowitz, Brown University.
Shari Jamal David Joseph, St. George's, Grenada.
Connor Smith, Warwick, Bermuda. Steve Ralston, St. Louis, Missouri, and MLS Original.
Pat Noonan, St. Louis, Missouri.
Taylor Twellman, St. Louis, Missouri.
You can see his head behind mine for sure.
That's great. All right.
New England's just a little bit loose. Taylor Twellman scored one of the most spectacular goals in MLS history to get New England into their 4th final in 6 years. What magic does he have on that foot today here in Washington, D.C.? A rematch of last year's MLS championship, which Houston won on penalty kicks after both sides scored in overtime 71 seconds apart.
I'll tell you, Dave, I mean, usually at this point, MLS Cup is an indication of the state of the union of soccer in this country, and it's usually the 2 best teams. I really think that's the case today. These are 2 classy teams. They're high-powered. It's going to be an absolutely terrific final.
We are underway. Houston in the orange, New England in the blue and the red. And, of course, the Revolution trying to extend that run of championships in New England. Maybe the Patriots are on the way to the Super Bowl. Undefeated. They look absolutely unbeatable. And the Revolution have admitted they are infused by that enthusiasm in New England. The Celtics playing so well. The Red Sox world champions. Here's Richard Mulroney in the center. Shown a lot of versatility since arriving in Houston from Toronto and Dallas. Andy Robinson will swing it out to the wide right. Greg Weibel. Weibel trying to launch the attack and targeting Joseph Nguyen. At the very top of the 18. Jaqua. And the first whistle. Alex Proust is the official today. His first MLS Cup. Look at the starting lineups today. Familiarity. That's certainly the watchword. 16 of today's 22 starters also started the MLS Cup in 2006. Julie Foudy joining us now. And Julie, what a difference that makes. First of all, they know each other so well, but how rare is that for so many starters in back-to-back cups?
I think it's huge, having played on teams where, especially with the national team, for 18 years together. I mean, just knowing what the other guys are doing and knowing that you can trust them and feel familiar with them is, as you can see with both of these teams, is I think largely the reason both of them are back.
The foul on Jeff Laurentowicz. Kids out of Brown aren't supposed to behave that way. 2 Ivy League titles for him at Brown, and Cochran will take the kick. Just getting started on a lovely day here in Washington, D.C. Jake with a big target. He nods that one down. A collision there with Heaps.
Not a lot of guys can out-jump Jay Heaps. Jake was definitely one of them. He's got the 6'3" frame.
Heaps with a 39-inch vertical leap.
Former Duke basketball player. That'll do you.
Although he says that was in his 20s when he took that, right?
He said maybe it's more like 38 now. He did dunk a soccer ball the other day just to show off a little bit. It was not a basketball. He doesn't know if he can do that anymore. Now the Houston Dynamo, like the Revolution, they finished second in the conference in the West, 15-8-7. New England also second in the East, but they wind up colliding again in the MLS Cup 2007.
There's a couple things we need to watch in the opening moments of this game, and I think one of them might be the attitude of the referee. We've already seen a couple of chippy plays. Let's see how much he lets go.
Rantos swinging this one to Connell Smith, and it's blocked. At back line, Weibel, Cochran, Robinson, and Barrett. Starters last year as well to get them to the championship. The foul on Brian Mullen and an early chance here for New England.
And you know why this is a little different? If they ended up, as we saw, looked like Craig Weibel's already. I think he just took that probably the chest or something as he got get his act together there. But I think there's a big difference here. Is that Brian Ching is not on the field right now. And if you remember last year, let's see exactly what happened there. That didn't feel good.
The veteran Ralston will take the kick here.
Brian Ching was marking Twellman.
That swings in for the right post, popped up off the head of Taylor Twellman. Of course, Taylor Twellman with that dramatic bicycle kick after it had popped up and wind up one of the most spectacular goals you will ever see. As Robinson descended forward. Nguyen launching the attack here for Houston. Davis trying to get this to Derisario on the cross. Jaqua lines it up, partially blocked, and there's Reese trying to cover. He did not cover it effectively and almost gave one up there as it squirted away from Matt Reese.
And this is what I love about the first 5-10 minutes of a final, World Cup final, MLS final. It doesn't matter. Both teams trying to impose their style, and Houston doing a very good job in the early stages of doing just that.
Avery John with the foul.
And both coaches were very open about this, including closed-door meetings, saying that this is going to be a different look. You know, we've been here before. There's no reason to be nervous. We're going to go at them. We're just going to basically just let our hair down and see what we got.
And you can see Steve Nicol there looking a little nervous. He said last night, this is the one thing I worry about are set pieces with Houston. They're so good in the air.
Davis and Mulrooney both there. This one will swing into the box and knotted away by the youngster Wells Thompson.
Houston's very aggressive right now. Great anticipation.
Davis spins this one out to the left. The Dynamo trying to build something here. Wade Barrett sends it back into the center. Here's Ryan Cochran. Now Weibel. New England wins it back, and here's Shawry Joseph. So much of their attack, Julie, runs through him. And one of the most effective midfielders, very, very creative. He's assigned so many things, marking the other top dog as well. Here's Shawry Joseph with the ball in his foot.
And that's the thing that I really like about Shawry. It's not just he's going to be the one on the ball playmaking. He's also their defensive presence. He's hammering people with tackles. He's winning air balls. So he gives it on both sides of the ball.
John sending it to the wing is Taylor Twellman. Taylor will be easy to spot today with those yellow boots of his. Noonan on the far side. Noonan looking for a target. Great move inside into the 18. Connor Smith with the cross. Just over the head of the leaping Taylor Twellman, who is demanding a foul, and it will not come from Bruce on this play.
Yeah, that early cross is going to be very dangerous. Watch Connor Smith just get his head up quickly and just try and find Taylor Twellman. Cochran and Robinson know that, but on those little transition plays, they got to be real careful.
Ralston to take the corner for the Revolution. Sends it in low. Back out it comes. Scoreless in the early minutes. The fans basking in the sunshine. Temperatures in the 50s today. We got a real break in the weather. There were some forecasts that indicated we might have some rain showers today, but plenty of sunshine. Wells Thompson, the rookie out of Wake Forest. Ralston, the veteran. He's played in more games than anyone in MLS history.
Talk about longevity. Most minutes, most games started.
A walk-on in Tampa Bay. They just showed up one day and they said, you know what, this guy's pretty good.
So he's moved into a playmaking role this season, and he led MLS with 14 assists. He said it's been a little bit of a transition for me getting into this role, trying to get out of some habits that I've developed after 12 years. He said every time I turn around, Shawry Joseph is saying, get forward, we need you up there.
I would have loved that. Take the ball and chain off.
Keeps with the tackle. New England wins it back. Here's Noonan. Inside is Taylor Twellman. Houston's Cochran there. Robinson will spin it ahead for Nguyen. Back for Dwayne De Rosario, who always seems to do something in big games there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I got to keep going back to. With Dwayne De Rosario, he's been responsible for something special every single year. If you look back in the last 5 years, it's always something. Does he have to do anything really terrific this year? I can't help but think he's got something up his sleeve today.
Playoff goals, all-star goals, the all-star game goal, remember that one? And yet this season rather quiet as far as the spectacular play, but today is the day to do it. MLS Cup 2007, great to have you along here at RFK. Shawry Joseph taking a tumble and then shove, no foul there. Barrett dropping it back for Eddie Robinson. This summer, Houston not only survived, but they really thrived despite losing a bunch of key players to the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Laurentowicz. Joseph.
Watch for the early cross here. If he can get it off quickly, that's best case scenario.
Smith. There's Weibel, and that's going to be a terrific matchup today, don't you think?
Yeah, you know what? If you really look at it, Connor Smith's got him beat on speed. He's faster than Craig Weibel, and you can see that brace on his knee. Those two will be going at it all day. But it's going to have to be, he's got him isolated. He's just a smart defender. I talked to Dominic Kinnear yesterday. He was a little bit concerned about the speed issue, but he says, you know what, Craig Weibel, he's got two things. He's smart, he's got Brian Mullen in front of him.
Noonan looking for room to cross here. Covered up by Pat Onstad, the Canadian international.
The other thing about the outside midfielders for both teams is they love to take the initiative. You just saw Connor Smith there wanting to take on 1v1. Good instincts on that. And talking about early on who's going to really take the charge and impose their style on the game, that will happen a lot from that outside midfield position.
Right.
Dominic Kinnear taking them back to the MLS Cup. Back-to-back years in Houston. A win today. He repeats as league champ. Not done in Major League Soccer since 96-97 by DC United. Those are the first 2 cups in league history. Here's Barrett now, wide left. The tireless defender sending this one forward, targeting Nguyen, but too much. And back to New England it goes. Revolution playing their 3rd straight MLS Cup. They also appeared in the 2002 Cup. The previous 3 appearances all ended, as Julie pointed out, in overtime or penalty kicks. Twellman making his move down the right side. Barrett there to defend, along with Brad Davis. Davis took it away and lost it. Ralston with the throw in here. Into the 11th minute, scoreless. The Adidas presents MLS Cup 2007. Rosario the deflection. Laurentowicz battling. De Rosario sends it to the flank in Jaquia. The Jaquia just stands out, doesn't he, at 6'3". Such a big presence out there. The foul on Wells Thompson of the Revolution.
Now, these guys can let it go a little bit. A couple players for the New England Revolution were carrying yellow cards, and throughout the playoffs, if you accumulate 2 in a row in 2 straight games, you would have been able to be here today. So it's interesting with Thompson. I think Shari Joseph. Let's watch how they play today, because they can kind of just let it go. They're allowed to foul again.
Barrett, the Houston Dynamo team captain. Right around midfield here on the left side. Nguyen can't catch up to it.
Jaquia was on the back post at 6'3", raising his hand. At 6'3", I'm not sure you need to raise your hand. It's pretty obvious it's going there.
Nate obtained from the LA Galaxy in July. Scored 6 goals for Houston. And we've talked about this before. Nate Jaquia's father played in the NFL for the Washington Redskins. He played right here at RFK, and in fact, he was part of their Super Bowl team as a safety in 1972. And now his son, as a soccer star, is trying to win the MLS Cup on the very same field here today.
How about that? Sitting in the stands then, after playing on that field. Tremendous.
Nguyen and Shari Joseph go toe-to-toe, and at least physically, Nguyen loses that battle, but the foul against Shari Joseph.
And it's one of the things I was talking about a minute ago. Alex Bruce, the referee, we're in green today. Very seldom do you see that, but I think it's very indicative of what kind of attitude he's bringing into this match. He's already had to blow the whistle a little bit too many times I'd rather see him go. I'd rather see him play, but it's a tough job. Finals are never easy.
Bruce slightly below average in the number of fouls called per game during the season. Eddie Robinson will float this one in. Kind of a feathery ball there. Jake with the first man to get to it. Shari Joseph will clear it. Here's Mullen sending it back for Weibel. Weibel with room to work, partially deflected. And here's Reese to get to it. Matt Reese, the finalist for 2007 Goalkeeper of the Year. One of the loosest players in the league. We have more fun with Matt when we cover the Revolution than just about anybody.
He's been in a great mood all week. I mean, one of the things you got to remember is when he was with Los Angeles, he participated in 3 as a substitute. Lost the first 2, won the 3rd one. This is his 3rd one. He's lost the first 2 in New England. His opinion on this is 3rd time's the charm. I'm going to win today.
Although when you look into his eyes, deathly serious back there come game time.
We were asking him last night if it was different from prior years, the team being so loose, and if that was pretty much the standard. He goes, no, we're healthy finally. We feel good with where we're at. So I do think it's a bit looser than normal, and he says it's a great thing. We're having fun together.
He also said that last year's loss on penalty kicks was the most devastating thing that had ever happened to him as a professional athlete. He said back there in Texas, inside that locker room, don't tell anybody because I might get the bill, but all those holes in the wall, they belong to me. Opportunity knocking for Jaquia. Down he goes. Tackled down and no whistle.
Pretty good job. Great job by Jaquia to get in, use his body, trying. Very seldom you see a foul called that early.
Reese with the grab. Rooney taking a shot at that far post. Another look.
Let's take a peek at it. See how I'm getting that elbow in there. Avery John's not afraid to get into these kind of battles. Got to be real careful once you get inside that line. You got to be careful. It's always been a criticism of Avery John that he's not afraid to tackle, but again, another foul.
I think that happens again, and the referee's not going to be as hesitant. I mean, that's a hard one to call this early on, but that's a little bit clumsy.
Avery John from Trinidad, part of the Soca Warriors. He missed their game against England in group play in the World Cup after drawing a red card.
That's that volatile attitude he sometimes brings, but there's good and bad pieces to it.
Benya looking for Barrett, but that rolls away. Adidas presents MLS Cup 2007 from RFK here in Washington, D.C. The home of one of the great franchises, of course, in the league, DC United. Many of their supporters dressed in black are here today. They're into it straight ahead. Lost it.
This thing's a battle. I mean, Alex Bruce is going to let that one go, and you'd like to see that a little bit more in the final. Let him play.
Here's Weibel now, out of the University of Washington. Part of that same Dynamo back four that won it all last year. Turned over. Back to Noonan. Noonan, who is kind of tough to watch today, Eric, in the warm-ups, because he is aching every place on the body. Although everyone else is pretty healthy. Here's the high, long cross. De Rosario trying to chase it down, banging with Wells. Thompson, great job by Thompson to clear that one. Comes back to Houston. Jake with a target, Reese there to grab it. Brad Davis was very dangerous whipping in those crosses with the left foot.
Let's see if he takes off here. This is the matchup you're waiting for. If Mullen can help him. Mulroney's coming over. Great job of slowing him down.
Donald Smith looking for someone to shoot into the 18. It never happened.
And a very important play right there. And you can see the commitment from Mullen and Mulroney making sure they help Weibel. You can see that brace on his knee. Believe me, Connell Smith knows it's there. He knows if he can just get running at him, he'll have a chance of getting a better cross off.
And that was one of the few opportunities where they've actually had room to run. I mean, both teams are keeping a very tight back line. You could see if we could get a wide shot, there's really 30 yards of space. There's no room in that midfield to play.
Revolution fans certainly here in force looking for a title. They've been looking for one for the last 3 years now. So has Steve Nicol, his 4th trip to the MLS Cup. Will today be the day for the Revolution? Onstad here, the man who sealed Houston's MLS Cup win against New England last November with his penalty kick save of Jay Heapshot. All losses and overtimes are on penalty kicks. I mean, that has a Buffalo Bills or even a Boston Red Sox back in the days of the curse connotation, doesn't it?
Man, I don't know. Did Babe Ruth start hating soccer? I mean, what happened there?
No Bambino.
They're talking about the fans for DC United. Bar Brava, their vaunted cheering section. They are chanting DC United over there from time to time. And they're just delighted that they're in the stadium today.
We have to remind them. That was a heart-wrenching loss, actually, and that DC leg, the second leg, almost came back.
Barrett. Showery Joseph interrupts that with his long strides. Looking for some help. He sends Thompson, but too much. 19th minute, no score. Houston and New England. They're at it again. For the 2nd year in a row playing for the championship of American soccer. Eric, you talked to a lot of coaches around the league this morning and over the last couple of days, polling them on who you thought was likely to win the game, and I'm stunned by the answers.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much been Houston's the better team. I mean, it was unanimous. I mean, most coaches, all of them, believe that, despite the fact that New England's coming into this thing healthy, that Houston just does it right. And they've been impressive all year. So I was, just like you, Dave, I was surprised that it wasn't unanimous. But
what's impressive about Houston is even when Brian Ching has been out early in the season with injuries or national team call-ups, they just have had guys that step up and get it done.
Twellman trying to sell that he was dragged down, but Bruce not buying it. Here's Heaps now. Noonan with the touch back to Showery Joseph ahead. Here's Ralston. Ralston on the corner. The cross. Taylor Twellman. There he is! Another another one. He's incredible in the playoffs. And New England strikes to lead it 1-0. He has become a big game goal machine and has now scored in 6 of his last 7 playoff games.
And there's no, watch, they're going to under-celebrate this one. They've learned their lesson. Don't over-celebrate, because this team will come back and bite you. It happened last year, but how about the run he's on right now? I mean, it's just the classic attack. Great first touch from Ralston, and it's just a great cross. I mean, they've been doing it for so long. Just a terrific finish.
It's like
right back
clinical, too. He snaps in. I mean, look at that back post. He's able to get some power on when he's backing up, which is hard to do. Great finish.
Ralston with the terrific ball, and Twellman heads it in, and New England has the lead in the MLS Cup. Of course, he scored in last year's final in the 113th minute, and then quickly celebrated. And while the Revolution was celebrating, the Dynamo came racing downfield, and Ching headed one in to tie it, and eventually the Revolution would lose on penalty kicks.
See Taylor Twellman trying to catch his breath. Scoring a big goal like that takes a lot out of you. Just kind of walk it off for a bit.
And that was a rare moment where you saw Houston's back line actually a little bit disorganized. No one went to Steve Ralston. He was all alone, could get his head up, looking to find Taylor Twellman in the box.
Here's Weibel, though, trying to answer quickly. The deflection. Houston trying for a handball. They're not going to get it. Bruce says no. Twellman in the center. Houston apoplectic. They demand a handball, but Bruce ignored everybody. Here's Thompson on the right wing. Back for Ralston, who, by the way, led the league in assists last season during the regular season. And at it again today. And Brian Ching can't save the Dynamo on this day. He is unavailable because of that injury. Off the turnover. Here's Nguyen. Goes right around Parkhurst. Onto the wing, Derisario lines up the cross. Jake with a target. Still free. Diving in there was Mullen. Here's Derisario, left footed too high. 1-0 New England here in the 23rd minute. Let's go back to the box. Was this a handball? Let's take a look at that replay.
See if we can get a good look at it as that ball comes through there. That hand does go out. Hits him in the back more than it does the hand. I mean, it may have looked like a handball from Weibel's perspective. Of course, he's going to argue, but when you see 4 or 5 guys raise their hand, then usually it's a better indication that it was something there.
Closer to the play, may have heard that first tip. A shove there on Houston as Brad Davis commits the foul. Well, the Revolution, they scored in the 38th minute against Chicago in the Eastern Conference Final. Julia, they made that hold up for the victory to get here to the MLS Cup.
And they know how to lock it down, that's for sure. And again, like you said, learn their lesson from last year. Those memories, they haunt you for days and days.
Dono Smith now off the feed from Ralston. Back in it comes. Taylor Twellman up. So is Noonan. Noonan trying to turn and fire, and it's blocked. Derisario comes out of there with it and clears it for the Dynamo.
I agree with Julie right now. I think that back line's in a little bit of disarray. I mean, they're having a hard time picking up runners. Cochran, Weibel, and I would say Robinson are all kind of just looking over their shoulder trying to figure out where these guys are coming in from. They don't see themselves right now.
Reese to launch this one for the New England fans in full throat right now. They've actually overtaken the DC United fans momentarily. Twellman to Smith.
See if he runs him.
A native of Bermuda trying to squeak on through. Down he goes. There is going to be no whistle. And Bruce pointing at Smith saying, "You took a dive."
They're not saying truce. They're booing.
Weibel ahead for Nguyen. Avery John there, sticking right with him. Maybe a little too hard, indeed.
That's not the smartest thing in the world. You've already had some moments here, Mr. John. You got to be careful. And Bruce is going to want to talk to him about it. I'd listen. He's probably helping him right now. If you already heard what Julie had said, is this is the biggest concern that Nickel has is these free kick situations.
Yeah, and that's
Watch
the last thing a coach wants to see their players giving up is one of these. These are so hard for a goalie because he's going to whip this in. You got to stay on your line. You can't cheat too much.
Brad Davis will take the kick.
And he's going to hit it hard, too. I mean, if he can just get this up over that first guy, it's dangerous.
Davis swings it in, far post, and it's poked away by Reese with the fist. Taylor Twellman rising up high, trying to win that one. And it will be New England, so I should say it will be Houston's to throw in. De Rosario. Wayne De Rosario, magical moments throughout his career. Over Reese. Foul on Craig Weibel as he made contact there with Matt Reese.
I think that's a good call. You could see Matt was coming in for it, and all referees will protect those goalkeepers in that situation.
Robert Kraft in attendance, the New England Patriots and New England Revolution's owner.
You know, I would have thought he would have changed it up with the pink tie, because that really hasn't worked for him in the past. Wore the pink the last time we were in this situation.
Now the Patriots are going to be playing the Bills later on. That'll be this evening, and he's going to be leaving Washington, D.C. and going up to Buffalo.
That was convenient how that one worked out.
He's one of the greatest people that have ever been involved with the sport of soccer in this country. We're very lucky to have him. Great man.
And for more on that story, let's go downstairs to our man, Alan Hopkins. Alan?
Thanks, Dave. In fact, right now the NFL is employing their flex schedule. Well, Mr. Kraft, Robert Kraft, is on the NFL television committee. So supposedly he went in and made sure that his team was the one that got to play Sunday night so he could fit in this huge sports day here. And of course, the other story, all the New England Revolution fans bust down free of charge, 4 full buses, came down from the Boston area. They're very excited. They're here and they're loud. And right now their team is up a goal. Dave.
Well, that's real power when you can manipulate the schedule like that to see your team play for the MLS Cup and also continue to be undefeated, perhaps. It's good to be the king. Heaps to Shari Joseph.
I like that confidence he's showing as well. I know our boys are going to be out here in that final game, so we want to play at night.
Laurentowicz spreads it to Cano Smith, back to Jeff Laurentowicz.
Dave, you know this. It takes a strong man to wear a pink tie.
Seen you wear many of them. I'll count you among them. New England on top here, but Cochran getting a little chippy there. Foul. You see and Pat Noonan are going at it. 28th minute, Taylor Twellman becoming the first man to score in back-to-back MLS Cups. Bruce all of a sudden got very busy.
Well, this is the same thing, just flip it. You had Davis down the other end, and now you'll have Ralston with the in-swinger. Now, I'll bring it up again. Twellman's going to be getting open on these situations because last year it was Brian Chang marking him. And believe it or not, he's one of the best on these plays is marking somebody. He's just a complete pain. I think Taylor's going to get open a lot more today. He's just kind of floating right now.
We're talking about Heaps and his good hops. Taylor Twellman certainly can rise, as we have already seen this afternoon. Ralston low. Wow. Easily defended by Houston.
Not a smart decision there. That's a couple there from Ralston. Surprise. One good cross and 2 bad
atypical of him. And that's such a good opportunity.
Wells Thompson, the rookie out of Wake Forest, has been so impressive, trying to swing it for that far post. Noonan has to give chase. There's Cano Smith. Will he keep it any will? Cano Smith controlling here for the Revolution. New England seems to have calmed down a little bit. Here's Ralston again. Taylor Twellman one time. The man going down was Laurentowicz. There was no whistle, cleared by Weibel. A bit of a shove.
And we knew coming into this match that outside midfield position, the matchups were going to be critical. And I think right now, 28 minutes in, New England is getting the upper hand with that position right there. Haven't seen as much from Mullen and Davis as we had thought.
Cano Smith, there's Noonan. Noonan trying to feed Taylor Twellman. And plucked away by Houston. Here's Jaquin now to start it. On the attack for the Dynamo. Nguyen and Parkhurst there. A foul on Cano Smith, who's going to help up Joseph Nguyen.
Well, just to touch on Julie's point, I think that the battle in the midfield right now is just one more number. I mean, if you look at it, Houston always plays with 4 in the midfield. And right now, those battles are being won by New England because they've changed their attitude for the first time. They're not playing defensive. They're going at them. They're treating the final the way they should.
Noonan now. The man in front of him is Cochran. Thompson. Shari Joseph now. Joseph being very calm. Noonan again. Just outside that 18. Back up top, Laurentowicz. Here's Heaps. Heaps chips for Taylor Twellman. And Onstad is there. We've seen Wells Thompson getting very active here the last several minutes. Looking for Twellman and others. But Eric, when you talk about his rookie status, yeah, he's coming off a very nice season. As Reese will try and cover this and does.
Erratic. I mean, I think that's the best way to put his season's been very erratic, but his willingness to just go at people. Every time he gets the ball, it's aggressive. I love it. I love it. He's never turning out of plays. He's always looking to make smart soccer decisions.
But truly a first-year guy, and here he is in the biggest game of his career, is starting a rookie in a situation where maybe it's better he doesn't know better.
Ignorance is bliss, right? Well, and they said, you know, the coaching staff with New England said, we knew it was only a matter of time. He just needed some games under him. And they've given him a lot of confidence by saying, look, we trust you not only in the biggest game, but throughout the course of the playoffs, they stayed with him. They didn't go back to Dorman.
And the other part of that is Steve Nicol knows how to draft. I mean, you go back to the players that he has drafted. I mean, you can go back to Dempsey, Parkhurst, Noonan, Twellman, now Wells Thompson. You look at those are players that have really come into their own. And Parkhurst was the guy we were saying all the same things about as a rookie in his final. And look at him now. He's the defensive player of the year. So I really think it goes back to draft day. I mean, Parkhurst, a tremendous talent. I think we'll be saying good things about Thompson in a couple years from now as well.
Thompson, a first rounder, making him Wake Forest's highest ever drafted soccer player. Taylor Twellman.
Let's see what he does with this one. Loves to just go.
Thompson working on the veteran Barrett. Newman had that one 5-3. Robinson is right there, and now Houston trying to build off of it. Davis dropping back now for Robinson. Missed kick there by Brian Mullen. Cano Smith still with it. Cano Smith still with it. Cano Smith to Taylor Twellman to the save by Onstad. Almost making it 2-0 New England. What a build-up on that after the missed kick. It was almost disaster for the Dynamo.
Right, that's the matchup we've been watching, that side. It was because it looks like Mullen tried to come back and help, but this is not a sitter. It kind of handcuffed him a little bit. Those aren't easy. But you see Cano Smith, when he gets those long legs going, when he starts running at people, he is trouble for anybody.
Well, when you look at that angle and all that space into that side of the net, Cano Smith would have been wiser maybe to fire on his own. Here's Nguyen. His cross at the top. It's Brad Davis. Davis to shoot, and it's blocked. And Avery John cleans it up for New England.
Those long legs that Cano Smith has, you think, okay, he's not going to be able to move in the mobility he has with that size. I mean, tremendous play there, and atypical in that, you know, a good look, and it just wasn't put away.
I mean, when you watch a giraffe run, you don't know he's going 35 miles an hour, but he is.
Cano Smith, who plays as an out-and-out striker for the Bermuda national team in the midfield for New England. He certainly has the ability to finish. You wonder if later he's going to think twice about it. Not taking a crack at it on his own, but New England with the 1-0 lead over Houston in the MLS Cup 2007. Sunshiny day here in D.C. Mullen trying to make his move off to the right, and this will result in a corner now. And the Dynamo with a chance to tie this one.
They got two people on the post. That means they're extra cautious on this deal. Let's see how. I didn't think Dominic Kinnear would sit down very long for this. Knows it's a good opportunity. Pushing everybody in.
Brad Davis, a beauty, and right on the top of that crossbar. It will be a goal kick. Boy, Davis so dangerous with that left foot. Almost stuck it in himself. Taylor Twellman now. He has scored to date and in consecutive weeks gigantic goals for the New England Revolution. That bicycle kick, they're still talking about that. 6 states in New England. Just an amazing piece of work in today.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the case with this guy is that, you know, I mean, you can say what you want about him. He's not going to be the guy that will take you on and dribble you, but if you just keep scoring goals like that, you got to take your hat off to the man. It's been a pretty amazing run for him.
10 goals in his last 12 games. Big goals.
Taylor Twellman attended Game 1 of the World Series for the Boston Red Sox. He was there inside Fenway Park, watching them start their run to a World Championship, but now trying to help another New England team onto a title here in November.
It's got him off to a good start, and usually in these finals we got to wait a long time for a goal. Believe me, that guy's thinking about the next one. There's no way that it's gone. What's already happened doesn't matter. In a striker's mind, it's always 0-0.
New England to throw in here. So what you're saying is that you forget the goals just as quickly as you forget the misses.
Yeah, you have
to. Not if you're a midfielder, Dave.
But strikers do, though.
You're thinking all game. That's right.
You have to develop convenient amnesia. That's the way it has to go.
Taylor Twellman, when you watch his performance in MLS in the big games, you wonder when it's going to happen for Taylor on the national team. When will he be added to that team? He came so close prior to the last World Cup. It was between Taylor Twellman and Brian Shing. Shing got the nod by Bruce Arena over Taylor. And I know Taylor Twellman was heartbroken by that. He's going to have other chances, but it hasn't happened just yet.
Right, and I think that speaks to the resilience of this kid. I mean, he's not a kid anymore, but I think he will get his chance. I think he has to. We're going to come up into a World Cup qualifying year where we need goals, and hopefully that man will be healthy as well. He's got to sit and watch this one. It's his turn for his heart to bleed a little bit, but these two have been the storyline that two of the best strikers in the league. Just squaring off head-to-head. Believe me, he'd want to be on the field today, but that calf injury is going to keep him on that bench.
New England trying to strike again. The long one's going to be just off to the right. Off the header, Pat Noonan there.
What another great ball by Ralston. He just wanders in behind those two, and I like him in that central midfield position. Dave, you said early on he's had to adjust his game, but and this is why he's the all-time career-leading assist scorer with New England. He's phenomenal with his service.
Now, Pat Noonan was a childhood friend of Taylor Twellman's. They grew up together in St. Louis. Just as goalkeeper Matt Reese and our Julie Foudy were childhood friends in Mission Viejo, California. We're still efforting early childhood photos to bring those to you in a second.
Yeah, those have been banned, thankfully.
Barrett here. Derasario. Been quieted thus far in the first half. Usually not something you can say over the full 90. Heaps. Give it right back to Eddie Robinson. Here's Mulrooney. Wide for Weibel. Weibel loves to come up from that back line. Long lead here. Nicely done to Mullen. Houston with one of their better looking attacks so far this afternoon here in the MLS Cup 2007. This will result in a corner kick.
That's a little bit better. You need to get Mullen more in the game. You can see Dominic Kinnear asking for it. Maybe it just takes a while for the information to get from the left back position all the way to the right side, but got to feel better about Mullen's inclusion in this match.
Davis again with that left foot right into the 6. Avery John clears it.
You know this about Houston, watching them throughout the year. I mean, they started their season 2-5-1 and had, a lot of early losses, and yet they never panicked. They did the same thing against Dallas in the Eastern Conference semifinal, went down on aggregate by 2 goals, never panicked. So a lot of game left, and you can see Coach Kinnear will be telling them just that from the sidelines, I'm sure.
Adidas presents MLS Cup 2007. New England against Houston. Dave O'Brien, Eric Winalda, Julie Foudy, Alan Hopkins with you on a sunlit day in our nation's capital. Houston in the orange, New England in the blue. The Revolution of New England in their 3rd consecutive final. They've yet to win one. Houston is the defending league champion. They beat this Revolution team on penalty kicks last year in Texas. On the wing, Davis. Davis launches. Showery, I should say there's Nguyen there. Showery Joseph lost him. And Nguyen went up for the header. He thought he had a shot at that far post. Reese a little bit upset as well.
I almost think like he almost didn't pick this up quick enough. It's a great ball by Davis that comes out of the shadows and into the sunlight. He kind of just forgets where he is. He's thinking, man, that was a good one. We'll take a good look at it there. That silver ball is hard to pick up coming out of the crowd.
And Guenya deceptively fast as well, as defenders have commented all season long in Major League Soccer. He can get there in a hurry.
And that look said it all, didn't it? You just want that one back. And as a forward, you don't get that many good looks like that often.
Bowman nods that down beautifully. Here's Ralston, but he gives it right back. Over to Craig Weibel.
You know, a lot is made of those two up top with Noonan and Twellman. They're understanding of each other. You just touched on it, Dave, all the way from St. Louis. Don't forget, Steve Ralston is also from St. Louis. So these guys, maybe that's the plan. I know they used to do that in Europe. They'd always bring him in threes. It's working for New England.
Connor Smith speeding ahead, eating up huge chunks of real estate. As Twellman there creeping into the center. Instead back for Ralston. Shari Joseph.
Good anticipation there from Cochran. See if they can bust out of there. They haven't been able to do it yet.
Sanguineo loves to go right at defenders.
Jake was wide open back there. No, not the best cross.
Into the last 5 minutes of the first half, and New England with the early goal from Taylor Twellman. He has done it again, and the Revolution lead 1-0. And Guenya goes flying through the air, tackled by Heaps.
No, more real estate for Connor Smith. Let's see if the blue shirts can get forward here. See Mullen as honest as they come. Coming back there and slowing him up.
Shari Joseph looking for Thompson. He will settle it. Laurentowicz. Here's Noonan again. Very patient build here from the Revolution. Shari Joseph. Noonan one more stride and would have gotten there. Pat Onstad. Noonan wins that challenge. Ralston up ahead. Taylor Twellman. Nicely defended there by Ryan Cochran.
New England right now doing a better job of busting out of those spots. Recognizing the times to go and the times to be smart. Shari Joseph just sitting in those little pockets, kind of orchestrating the whole thing. I really like the way they look. They got to be happy with the first half up to this point. Not just the lead, but the way that they've played collectively.
Thompson looking for someone to get to space here. Noonan was trying to fire that one right to Shari Joseph, waiting to pounce on it. Guenya and Smith. Jakewood couldn't quite get there.
See if they can go now.
Cochran started that with that flying header up ahead to Jakewood. Nate Jakewood. The big guy, pretty good with the ball at his feet.
It's pretty amazing there on a play like that. Revolution able to get 8 shirts back immediately.
Weibel sends it in. Reese will take care of this one. Of course, the Revolution have been down this road before with the lead in the MLS Cup. In the 113th minute, they had a 1-0 lead last year. Connor Smith blowing right by onto that wing, still with it. Boy, he is having a dynamic first half here for the Revolution. Ralston.
He's just stretching him out. He's able to get in spots where he can just run it out of trouble and get the Revolution down in the other end of the field. He's doing a great job in the first half.
Darasario and Guenya. Guenya with Heaps tangling with him. Here's Darasario again. Controlling for the Dynamo. Off the back heel. Here's Barrett coming up. Davis.
There's nothing there. Just all those little windows are closing up. See Wells Thompson get his foot in there. It's just so hard to play it in there. You look at the way, from a tactical standpoint, one would say that the midfield has been overloaded. I think Nichols done a great job of keeping all these guys compact, but that back three hasn't been exposed yet. De Rosario just can't find any holes. The frustration is just very clear to see on Dominic's face. This team has made the commitment to defense today.
Hey, coming up, the Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report with Rob Stone and Julie Foddy, who has left us back to our halftime booth, and they will have the top 10 goals of the year in Major League Soccer. They'll recap the season's top stories. What a busy year it was in MLS. And Jimmy Eat World will also perform, all coming up at halftime of MLS Cup 2007. Dynamo trailing. May very well be trailing at the break. The defending league champions, Joseph Nguyen, trying to get them started. Put an additional minute up. Taylor Twellman's goal has held up so far. Twellman again on the right side. Looking for room to cross, but blocked away by Ryan Cochran.
This is where they can't take their eye off of Twellman as Ralston makes his way to the corner. A couple of bad corners thus far for Ralston. He's really just trying to get it over that first guy's head. It looks like it's Mulrooney at that near post. And let those big guys just kind of fall right in that spot, right in front of Onstad.
Ralston up and over the head of Taylor Twellman. Steve Ralston, one of 7 active MLS players who's played in all 12 MLS seasons, was yet to win the cup. But here's Noonan to try and settle it down on that end line and blocked by Onstad. Final seconds here. First half just about history. Onstad screaming out in anger here as Ralston goes to line up another corner. Not much time remaining. Opportunity for New England one last time before halftime. It swings in right at the whistle. And that's it. We are at the break. Foul here right before. And there's the whistle. And so that will do it. The New England Revolution with the 1-0 lead because of Taylor Twellman's goal. And the owner, Mr. Kraft, is delighted by the first 45. We'll see if he is still cheering at the end. That would mean New England's first MLS Cup. They are 45 minutes away. Adidas presents MLS Cup 2007 back in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. It's the New England Revolution leading the Houston Dynamo, the defending champions, by a score of 1-0. Dave O'Brien, Eric Gonaldo with you. Julie Foudy joining us in just a moment. And once again, Taylor Twellman in a big game situation comes through.
You know, I'll tell you what, it's very difficult to put into words exactly how good this guy is. Let's let the virtual replay do it for you. I mean, you think he's covered. You think that these guys have got him, but that those little spaces are where this guy works. This is his office. He only needs about a foot here. Out jumps everybody and puts it in the back of the net. Get out of there, referee. Let them celebrate. But I'll tell you what, you can almost see that look that he gave Shari Joseph. I told you so. You cross the ball anywhere near me, I'll find it. Great goal. Terrific goal.
We are set for the second half, and we are underway as the New England Revolution are 45 minutes away from a title. That elusive title. The third consecutive trip to the MLS Cup. Nguyen will roll this one softly by Matt Reese. Just getting started in the second half. Alan Hopkins had a chance to chat with both coaches, Dominic Kinnear and Steve Nicol. Alan, down to you.
Thanks, Dave. I talked to Steve Nicol going into halftime. Of course, he's very happy with the way things are going. He thought his team played very well, but he wasn't happy about the number of set pieces. They said you have to do a better job of limiting set pieces. Great chance here, knocked out away. Going back to Dominic Kinnear, a very spirited locker room actually Houston enjoyed at halftime. He said, hey, our guys know what to do. They're champions. He said, we know what we got to do. Play everything a little bit better. Better forward, holding the ball. Better getting forward. He also said at some point, look for them to switch to a 3-5-2, bringing in Stuart Holden and pushing Wayne Barrett into the midfield. Dave?
All right, Alan, thank you very much. Noonan settled this, trying to spring free, but can't. Right into the teeth of the Dynamo defense. Now, Houston, who do they turn to for the goal to equalize this thing? They don't have Brian Cheng.
Right.
Because they're also missing Ricardo Clark because of that 9-game suspension.
I think Alan just mentioned it. I think that's pretty much going to be the secret is when does Stuart Holden get into this game and what can he do? I mean, he's a young player. He's a very confident kid, but they need something. I think that when you talk about Cheng, the one thing that changes a lot of this is that Dominic Kinnear used to be able to look at that sideline or look at his bench and know that he has somebody who can change the match up front. With Brian Cheng being out of this match, he's got to show his cards way, way earlier than he's used to.
Cheng, by the way, even though he is not active today, he is allowed to sit on the bench The rules say he's not supposed to be, but Houston got a special dispensation to allow him to sit there today. It had to go to Steve Nickel, the opposing coach, and Steve said, why not?
Yeah, he's pure class. I think he understands the severity of the situation. I mean, why not let Ching at least have the opportunity to be with his teammates? Class move.
Houston looking for the equalizer here in MLS Cup 2007. This one spins right to Laurentowicz. Barrett. Eddie Robinson. Barrett launching this one forward. Jakwa just a step late. Heaps will turn it right around. Good job here by Mulrooney attacking. Stays on his feet. Brad Davis now. Here's Nguyen. Nguyen cuts back inside, right-footed, and a nice stop there by Matt Reese. Neither man, Onstad or Reese, have been required to make many today, but Reese was there to stop it. Showery Joseph working with Taylor Twellman. Joseph will send it out wide. Weibel softly to Mulrooney, and here come the Dynamo. Jakewood. Reach on there to spoil that. Showery Joseph can't maintain. New England on top 1-0. Taylor Twellman off a beautiful, beautiful feed from Steve Ralston. Taking the first half advantage. Jakewood. Deep to the corner, almost all the way to the line. Spins through, no one there. Rosario was the intended target.
And literally no one there. You didn't have any midfielders really in the box with Jakewood doing that on the sideline.
Julie Fadi, Dave O'Brien, Eric Winalda, and Alan Hopkins with you from RFK here in Washington. Early moments of the second half of American Soccer's championship. Parkhurst.
You know what's been great about today, Dave, is I think that both coaches and both teams did not take a conservative approach to this match. Too often you see in finals that teams that come out, they play conservative. We're playing with zeros. We don't see a lot of chances. But both teams have made the commitment that they're going to come out here to play today. It's wide open. It's a terrific final.
Well, wide open is Ralston now down the left side. He will hold it up. Cano Smith, who had a very impressive first half of the Revolution. He was a handful on that opposite side. Showery Joseph working his way into the sunshine. Here's Taylor Twellman.
I think in that first half, the five, Eric, you talked about it a little bit, the five in the midfield for New England probably had the better half than Houston's four. An adjustment to be made in this second half for Houston and trying to get those outside midfielders a little more engaged.
And I think Alan touched on it a little bit. I mean, Dominic Kinnear's got to make a move at some point. If the scoreline stays the same, they've got to do something about that overloaded midfield. There's just too many blue shirts in there. They can only just do the short stuff, and they're not being able to find those little seams. So let's see if Dominic Kinnear, changes it. You can see that little nod of frustration. I would expect Stuart Holden to come into this game before we get to the 60-minute mark.
Neither side really made any substitutions at halftime.
I missed that on the run-up.
You're quick, though.
This guy, you can see a little quick look at Stuart Holden.
Was that Rob Stone?
Partially blocked out.
That is Rob Stone.
No, it's his little brother.
Rob certainly on the move these days, but it is Stuart Holden who might be the ace in the hole today for Houston. We will see. Mulrooney trying to race away from Showery Joseph. Here's Rosario trying to turn. Gives it up, and that one is deflected away. And Brad Davis trying to turn and fire.
And that's how you're going to break down the New England defense. If you're going to just get a quick, you punch the ball into the center forward and try and get Parkhurst in an isolated situation where he's pulled out of his spot. There's the forward look at it. Got the quad box for you. It's been testy times for Reese. He's always had to come out and get him.
In-swinger from Mulrooney. Reese holding his hands out. A foul on that effort. And will go against the Houston Dynamo. Noonan got clunked here. And Pat Noonan is coming off injury issues this season. He's trying to stay healthy through the final. He's taking some pretty good knocks.
You know, Pat Noonan's had a pretty good game today. And finals of the Fast, you see a little welt under that eye. He's going to probably have another one of those when the game's over.
Jaquith trying to work with Mullen. Mullen flying down the right side. Parkhurst all over him. Parkhurst, one of those rare central defenders who doesn't commit any fouls. Just 5 all season long. On the other side, you look at a defender like Avery John. He had a ton of them during the season. So did Eddie Robinson for Houston, but Parkhurst does not commit many.
Parkhurst is one of those players that just reads the game so well. He anticipates everything. When you're stepping 2 ahead like that, you don't even need to foul. It's unbelievable.
Avery John's already fouled them by the time they get to him, so.
Yeah, they're already feeling that sting. Doesn't back down from anybody. Weibel will send it inside. That was Parkhurst to flick it away. Here's Barrett, though, trying to settle. Got a little bit unlucky as that one spit away from him. Taylor Twellman in the center. Ralston. Here's Noonan now. Trying to leave it for Taylor Twellman. Could not fight his way through as Eddie Robinson to stop that effort. Showery Joseph really digging, and digging a little too hard. That will be a foul on the New England midfielder. Taylor Twellman has come up a little bit lame. He was hobbling as he rose to his feet and started to try and walk it off. But after tangling up there with Robinson, here comes Derasario now, flying into the box. There's the cross. Opportunity here for Weibel as he blasts away. Too far off to the right. Let's go back to this effort moments ago. Derasario on the cross.
Yeah, great runs there from Jaquith. I mean, that's an unselfish run to get to that near post and clear up some space. And there's this little. You don't see that too often. Eddie Robinson showing a little bit of skill back there and being very calm, collected.
Taylor Twellman looks like he's all right. Now running freely. The 56th minute, 1-0 New England.
Eric, you were talking earlier about Stuart Holden when he comes in and the lack of depth right now with Brian Ching out. And the other player we haven't mentioned much is Ricardo Clark, you know, with the suspension, 9-game suspension. He actually missed the final last year as well with the yellow card accumulation. So 2 missed finals in a row, and that really hurts.
Ricardo Clark unable to sit on the bench today. Unable to participate in any way suspended players cannot, and that is just eating him alive. Not to be able to play today for Dominic Kinnear and defend this crown for the Houston Dynamo.
Oh, there'll be better days for Ricardo Clark. He's a very talented player. Obviously an all-star. I think we'll see him wearing the U.S. national team jersey again. It's just unfortunate for him to have to sit, as you said, 2 in a row.
Now, for more on that story, let's go down to Alan Hopkins. Alan.
Thanks, Dave. I did talk to Ricardo Clark before the game, and he is a bit disconsolate about the whole thing. Really sad about it, particularly with the nerves of being in a final. The one thing, though, it was this opportunity that allowed him with this rest is to work on his ankle. Actually had surgery on his ankle, a scope. Just started jogging this week, and he hopes to stay fit, running around training with the team as much as possible. But obviously missing 2 straight finals is something that he's going to have to try to shake free, and obviously with the scoreline going the way it is, I'm sure he's really feeling like he's letting the team down.
Alan, thank you very much. Wade Barrett with a yellow card as he pulled down Wells Thompson. And so now on the kick, it's Ralston to take it for New England.
Connor Smith just kind of hanging out just outside the 18. If this thing comes back out to him.
Rosario there nods it back out. Ralston will try and set up another effort. Heaps with Jaquith coming. Showery Joseph. Joseph had some difficulty settling that. Eddie Robinson defending. New England gives it right back. Revolution in their 3rd consecutive MLS Cup. They have not won it. For the 4th time in 6 years, they play for the championship of the league, looking for their first title. Tired of that runner-up label, to be sure. But a very, very loose team coming into this final.
And what does that say about Coach Nichols? In his 6 seasons, he's brought the team to the championship game 4 times. That's unbelievable.
He's been known to give his team, a veteran group for the most part, several days off during key moments. Here's Jacob trying to fight his way inside. Still loose. Durasario there. Reese got a hand on it. Laurentowicz finally clears it for the Revolution.
To give you an idea how loose they were this week, 2 days ago at practice, Nichols just let them play any position they wanted to play. To go out there, you got Taylor Twellman playing as a center back with Ralston. Does he get through here?
Ralston did get through, looking for room to maneuver here. Ralston at the top of the box. That shot is going to be too high. Taylor Twellman and Pat Noonan were there, and that one blasted high, almost made it 2-0.
Man, you can see Robert Kraft's reaction.
And once again, though, it's Ralston. I mean, he just gets free in all these different places. I love that position for him where they brought him inside, because he hovers, he finds the space, and once again creates another very good look for New England. And what a different game this is if one of those falls and they're 2-0 up. Those are the ones that come back to haunt you later.
One more look.
Let's take a look at this, because it's just such a class little pass. Those are the kinds you love. Didn't miss by much.
Noonan hit that well, too.
Yeah, it really comes back, as you said, Julie, to Ralston. I mean, Ralston is not only just crossing the ball. He actually knows how these guys want it. It's a big part of it.
Well, the Revolution continue to defend with the lead as they did in the Eastern Conference Final. Bruce with another whistle here.
Good look at Shawry and Joseph and Laurentowicz, and really they're the reason Ralston is able to be freed up, because they hold and they stay.
That one flicked wide. And that will be a corner coming up for Houston.
Houston trying to take a quick free kick. Catches New England a little bit off guard there.
As Brad Davis takes this, you got to think of the first couple of times, challenging the goalkeeper, trying to put it right in that little pocket. It's usually Cochran that will go stand right in front of the goalkeeper to try and impede the play, but it's got to be a little bit different. It's got to be a little bit, I think back post is probably their better option.
Davis again swinging for that back post. Davis has to race out of that corner to help out. Ralston on him. Brian Mullen. Far post Durasario off the foot. Still alive. There's Iguana. Another effort. And it's in. He scores it. Houston has tied it in the cup. The defending champs have knotted the score here in the 61st minute, 1-1 with the Revolution. Joseph Iguana.
Yeah, you see one team is just celebrating this, and the other one's, oh no, here we go again. Because this was just a comedy of errors. As this ball came through the first time, and there's a few people who took a swing at this. Good cross by Mullen, little flick by Avery John, puts it in a bad spot. Great job of just throwing it back in front of the goal. First one's no good. You would think that Reese would have had that. It squeezes underneath him. It's a better look at it here. That was the one you thought he would have had. That's the one that usually doesn't go in, but we're tied up.
Heaps was there just in front of the line, but Heaps could not stop it as it squeaked underneath Reese on the second effort by Iguana.
And Iguana wide open, really, on that back post. No one within 4 or 5 yards of him.
So the Dynamo fans celebrating on that side because Joseph Iguana has scored his first MLS playoff goal. And Dominic Kinnear's team, as they did last year against the Revolution in the final, battling back to tie it.
Yeah, and they have no problem with that. They're a very resilient squad. I mean, I just saw them wave off Stuart Holden, so they'll let this play out a little bit. The most important part now is in both coaches' mind is they don't like to admit it, but they're thinking, oh no, overtime. So now they have to be very careful on how they manage the rest of this game. Because you know your team. You know that certain guys might be dragging an injury into this thing. He's been there before, and he knows that. Got to be real careful.
That shot at Dominic Kinnear looked like he was saying 3-5-2 to his team, meaning he's going to bring a defender up into the midfield. You can see Weibel already making the run up there on the far post.
Davis hit it, knocked down. There's Jacob battling with Laurentowicz, gets right back up. Shalry Joseph trying to dribble his way out of it. There is a flag up here on the right side and a foul.
And
the 64th minute, Julie.
This will be interesting to see if Kinnear does go to a 3-5-2, which is obviously a more offensive formation, going for the win in the final minute.
Dallas Smith trying to corner inside. Weibel, he gets taken down. No, says Bruce. No foul inside the box. Oh, these two are going at it. Dono Smith and Weibel. Weibel took a tumble. And Bruce standing over Craig Weibel.
But either he's doing one or two things, seeing if he's bleeding or trying to make himself bleed. I don't think he really caught him. This is not the smartest play out of Dono Smith.
With the referee standing in your back pocket. How about that? That's something you do when...
Well, let's see where he goes. I mean, he's going in that front pocket, which I'm actually happy to see that, because a red card could ruin a game.
Exactly. And Bruce has been very good about talking to the players rather than throwing cards, but
this was the matchup we were talking about. Once he gets in behind him, he's already on his way down. He knows he's looking for it. They start kind of jabbing at each other here on their way back. This is where it gets bad. We've seen this time and time again. Let's see if he really gets him. A little bit there.
Oh.
Right in front of the ref.
Holy.
So the caution for Dono Smith.
Could have very easily been a red card. Very easily. But you know what? Alex Bruce is right in the middle of that conversation.
I mean, he's basically talking to the referee while he does it. That's crazy.
Reese has to come out, box this one a mile up.
Smith is very lucky he did not get ejected.
Davis. And a roll easily into Reese. 1-1 in the 66th minute of the 2007 MLS Cup. Noonan forward for Thompson. Thompson trying to target Twellman and never reached him. Taylor Twellman with the first goal of this one. Joseph Nguyen with the next goal, tying it up for Houston. Rosario trying to get creative there with Heaps right on his back. By the way, we said in the first half that Taylor Twellman was the first man to score back-to-back MLS Cups in history. That is what we were told, but Tony Senna actually did it back-to-back in 96 and 97 for DC United. So I want to bring that correction to you.
You just knew that Weibel was going to try to hit Dono Smith with that one. They're not done. That thing is still brewing. The problem is Dono Smith's got to be a heck of a lot more careful than Weibel. Weibel's got one more shot left in him.
Weibel already looks through. He's been through the battle at this point. Houston in the orange, New England in the blue. Dono Smith. Here's Noonan. Taylor Twellman. Twellman shoots low and wide. And that one will be off the hand. Or is it off the hand of Onstad? I don't believe he touched it. He did not.
Tillman was telling him to watch the big board. Probably get a better look at it. Doesn't look like it to me. I don't think anybody touched that.
Ooh, got maybe a little nick on it. And this is where Twellman's so dangerous. He just needs a little half step, a small window. Didn't get everything he wanted on it, but he's so dangerous in those positions.
Again, a great final, though, because we're continuing to see chances. Both of these teams, both of these coaches need to be commended for the way that they've addressed this game. They've let their boys play. It's a great final.
A rematch of last year's final, which Houston would go on to win in penalty kicks. The same set of rules here for 2007. A 30-minute overtime, and if necessary, penalty kicks again.
See Jaquan on that back post, a 6'3" target for Houston. No one really even picking him up. zone in that.
It's Davis trying to send it in.
They're doing the same thing on the corners, letting him roam fairly free.
Wells Thompson with the young legs pushes it forward with speed. Thompson holds it up outside the box.
And it will be interesting to see how New England reacts, having experienced this last year, having gone through so many moments in finals where, you know, like we talked about earlier, it's just been some heart-wrenching results. How they respond to the equalizer.
Are they doubting themselves? Doubting can they win a final? In their third in a row, Showery Joseph.
Man, Mullen and Avery, that's a car crash. Those are two guys that will not back out of a tackle. Mullen being the smarter one of the two, just jumping over that one.
Mulrooney targeting Nguyen. Ralston with some room to maneuver here. Here's Showery Joseph. Heaps on the far right side. Over the head of Noonan. Now Andy Dorman for New England starting to pick up his warm-up a little bit here on the near side as we watch Andy. Maybe Nickel will go to one of his substitutes here in the second half. Noonan still digging. Ralston let it roll. Cano Smith. Partially blocked there by Mullen. Smith wanted a handball. 70th minute, tied 1-1 in the final.
And I think that's a perfect opportunity for Cano Smith there. He's got him 1v1 on the corner of the box. Get inside that box. And his instincts have been very good this game with that. Maybe he's getting a little bit tired.
Taylor Twellman certainly not looking tired. Feeds Cano Smith here on the left wing. He sends it back in. Taylor Twellman popping that one up.
And how many times do you see that? Twellman recognizing that he's not a dribbler. Get it wide. Get yourself back in front of the net. Try and get it on the end of a cross.
Dave O'Brien, Eric Ronaldo, Alan Hopkins from RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. Houston has tied this one up in the second half.
And Coach Kinnear has gone to 5 in the midfield. He brought Barrett up into a left midfield spot. Playing with just a 3-back mostly now.
Houston goal, by the way, the first New England has conceded in the playoffs this year. Wells Thompson with 2 defenders there. Laurentowicz. Showery Joseph settles and now pushes it for Steve Ralston. Cano Smith working a 2-man game there with Noonan. That's going to roll on out. Cano Smith a little bit frustrated here in the second half, Julie. He was all smiles in the first half because he was having his way of it down that left flank.
And that resulted in that attempted headbutt, which he got the yellow card for just a few moments ago. But that body language starts to take a toll on the team, too, because everyone sees that.
Cano Smith, the 25-year-old, tall and lanky, long strides at 6'3", 190. They've bottled him up a little bit here in the second half so far. De Rosario trying to work it against Parkhurst, the defender of the year. Heaps coming over to help out for New England. Wayne De Rosario will always get a lot of attention. Nguyen. Davis back again for De Rosario. He could be anywhere on the field at any moment. He loves to roam. Davis again, straight on. Barrett feeds it back to De Rosario. De Rosario shot is low and not terribly strong to Reese. And you're seeing more of Dwayne De Rosario. Moments ago, he was really frustrated with Jakwa, who didn't see him kind of drawing right back into the top of the box. Jakwa just sort of ignored him.
Right. I mean, he's had a quiet game. Let's face it. I mean, those are the kind of half chances that he could possibly be the guy that makes something special happen. He's done it in the past. He could very well be the guy that does it again. He just lives for the big moment.
As you said, oddly quiet in that field this season as far as the big game goals or the spectacular goals. We haven't seen that from De Rosario. He did sign a big new contract, which he's delighted with. Very, very happy to be there in Houston.
That always helps.
Yes. Ralston now. In the box is Taylor Twellman. Great stop by Onstad as he reached out, lunging to his right, and kept that from ever reaching Taylor Twellman.
Yeah, and the other part of this is how good has Ralston been on the run today. Every single time he gets in important spots, his experience comes through, his concentration is there, and the cross is just fun. A little bit of a deflection there. It might have been even a better cross in the end, as Onstad has to stretch to get that one out of there. That was experience versus experience there.
Yeah, Ralston the Graybeard having a terrific final. And Guenya. Here's Weibel. Brad Davis. Dero to the corner! He got it! There's his big one! And there's the dance! De Rosario has made it 2-1 Houston! Dwayne De Rosario with another huge moment in his career. And Houston has the hammer in the MLS Cup 2007. He just has an incredible knack, Eric.
I think that, when you watch a player with this kind of ability, it's an unbelievable snap header, exactly where it needs to be. It's a fantastic cross, and the delivery was there, but man, I mean, this guy, every single year, it's something. There's the best look at it there. Nothing Matt Reese can do. Wells Thompson can't believe it's happened, but this game isn't over. I mean, you got a team that has lost so many games in this fashion. They're going to throw everything at Dominic Kinnear now. Everything.
De Rosario playing in his 4th final. Of course, last year with Houston as well, also in 03 with San Jose. And in 2001 with San Jose's 5th career playoff goal in the 74th minute. Now a free kick for New England. Steve Ralston will be the man to line it up. Now the Revolution are behind.
I still think Cano Smith is just sitting there, just kind of pretending like he's disinterested in the play. This guy, they're just sitting in a spot where no one else wants to pay attention to him.
Ralston with the strike. Still loose. Shari Joseph lunged forward and missed it. Cano Smith. Back in it goes. Onstad punches it out. De Rosario there to collect.
This game is getting good, guys. This is going to be a great final.
You said that snap header by De Rosario, and what makes that possible? What a great ball in by Brad Davis, because he brought it in with such pace that you could get some pace on the header as well.
Robert Kraft, who's heading off to the Patriots game a little bit later when this one is over, wants to be carrying the MLS Cup with him. But right now, his team is behind in the final in their 3rd consecutive year to the MLS Cup. They have not won it. Here's De Rosario.
Great pass.
And Guenya.
And again, you have to be wondering what these New England players are thinking. Are they thinking, my goodness, we do have a curse here? Or are they thinking, okay, let's get some confidence and get back in here?
Yeah, are they wondering, the Red Sox obviously don't have it anymore. Did they pass it on?
But Bambino had to like soccer. Come on, guys.
Dorman is getting ready to check in for Steve Nicol as he wants to make the substitution here. 77th minute. Houston trying to repeat as the champions of American soccer. Shari Joseph shoveling that one forward. Heaps came up. That shot's going to be wide. That one off the foot of Pat Noonan, who's had a couple of chances here in the second half.
And I love this chance, too, because it's just so clever. It just shows his inventiveness in front of the net. Heaps gets through there, and he just kind of makes something out of nothing. He didn't miss by much. I'll tell you what, if he would have got that anywhere near that corner, that would have been it.
And he didn't have a lot of time to take a big backswing and wind up, so did very well to even get that away.
Trying to figure out what the substitution is. 11 went up, but it's actually going to be Ralston.
Yeah, 11 would have been Noonan, but Ralston is the man who comes off instead. And Dorman comes on for him. Andy Dorman, 7 goals this season, but it's been a while.
If he's stretching like that, the only reason why he would come out, he just said it, it's his calf. I mean, the disappointment continues for him. You can see that.
And that is going to be a big loss for New England with the ground and the balls he's been serving.
Smith. There's Noonan. Noonan streaked it to the top of the 6. Stuart Holden also is getting ready to come on for Houston. So the Dynamo will counter that substitution. 79th minute. And New England is down again in the final. 2002, losing to LA. 2005 to LA, both in overtime. And then the cruelest cut of all in penalty kicks last year to this Houston Dynamo team.
Now, Andy Dorman is known for these late game runs. He comes out of midfield. He'll play in that same position Steve Ralston did.
Laurentowicz dropped it back. Showery Joseph a little tardy getting there. Cano Smith now swings in. A header. One hop right there to Onstad. That was Dorman.
And Dorman brings in a fresh pair of legs on top of that. Known for his runs out of midfield and then fresh.
Well, everything had been really going perfectly in this New England autumn in all sports across the board. From the Red Sox World Series to the perfect starts by the Celtics and the Patriots. And a lot of folks assume, oh, just keep rolling for the Revolution. Dorman headed for that far post. And yet now they trail in the 80th minute, despite all of that success by all the other sports franchises in Boston. A lot of people just assume that today would be the day. 3rd straight cups for the Revolution in perfect health.
Well, even Boston College has had a big year for football, so everything's going right up there. But this game is not over, people. I still think that as Iguena will leave the match, Stuart Holden. So this is a fairly big change. They got to sort this out in the midfield.
Bringing Dwayne De Rosario up
He'll go up top.
Holden's coming in that middle of midfield.
Some of the Revolution fans looking quite pensive, quite nervous here at RFK this afternoon. Dominic Kinnear may be ready to sip the champagne for the 2nd straight year. Steve Ralston came off moments ago. For more on that story, let's get on to Alan Hopkins.
Yeah, big blow, Dave, for New England. Their comeback hopes. The MLS's all-time assist leader is out with a calf injury. Pat Newton was the player to come off, but when Ralston signaled to the bench, he couldn't go. They had to make the change, but a disappointing end, it looks like maybe for Ralston this season, Dave.
One of the great veterans in the league, an original in Major League Soccer for 12 seasons. 7 of them are still active. He's the only one of them who has never won an MLS Cup. Revolution looking for the equalizer now. Noonan.
And he truly is Mr. Longevity. When you look at all the MLS career records he holds, minutes played, games started. So you know this just must be killing him to come off when the game's on the line.
And on the other side, Dwayne De Rosario strikes yet again in a huge game. It's almost automatic that in a big moment he's going to come through at some point.
Dave, we said it in the open. We said we might see the D-Row dance, and we got it.
Noonan. Is Mulrooney getting in the way? Houston. Just about 8 minutes away from another title. The Revolution desperate to tie it. Down goes Noonan, no whistle there. Showery Joseph spins it out wide. Dorman trying to settle off the chest. It's been blasted low, and again it's Noonan, but not much behind it. And with every effort, Mr. Kraft is squirming a little bit more. This is 4 times in 6 years the Revolution has gone to the final of Major League Soccer. And they have never won it. Offside flag is up here. Chances are going to start to run short for Steve Nicol.
And you go back to those earlier moments for New England. Twellman had the look from Smith, that cross in the first half that he just didn't get enough on. You had Pat Noonan with a very good look in the second half. Two very good opportunities for New England. They just couldn't capitalize on to finish it off.
Of course, the New England Patriots, Mr. Kraft is the owner of that franchise as well. They are in Buffalo tonight. The Bills lost 4 Super Bowls. The questions are going to come, and you know they will, accusations that this New England Revolution team has become the Buffalo Bills of Major League Soccer if they lose another one today.
Everything's a field goal. If it goes over and misses wide. You got to feel for those guys. What a valiant effort by for the coaches today. But this, you know, this game is far from over, people.
Tyler Smith on the cross, Taylor Twellman. And this will be a goal kick for Onstad in the 84th minute. Time for a look at our Dick's game track and the goals today in the Cup.
We got off to a pretty good start if you're a New England fan. Great goal, classic goal for Twellman, but then just a miscue in front of the net. You thought that Reese had it. Kinnear gets to celebrate. Heaps is thinking, oh no, here we go again, and maybe it is the case. Hero comes up with another huge moment. Great goal. This thing's 2-1. I still think there's one more goal in this game, though.
Tyler Smith hopes you're right. Avery John off the head. Wells Thompson upended. Bruce says play on, but he's been very consistent today. Holden up top for Jaquo.
Smart by Jaquo. See if he can find the corner.
Jaquo still digging. Holds it up again, still in.
I can't tell you, that is so important to all the guys that play in the back. That's how you earn respect from your teammates. You take it in the corner, you take a few hits, everybody else catches their breath. Smart play by Jaquo.
Dominic Kinnear getting closer and closer to a repeat.
And at some stage, New England's got to think, we've got to start sending some numbers. We got to take some risks here. We've got almost 5 minutes left in this game, and they're going to be sending a lot more midfielders. By Shari Joseph in the middle, even coming forward.
Yeah, that time for desperation is now.
That'll happen, I think. I think it'll happen in the last 3 minutes of this match. It's not how many numbers they throw forward. It's how far back Houston decides to make that line. If they keep dropping, that could be dangerous because they've got great crosses of the ball. As Julie said, they're going to throw some more shirts in front of the net. Just wait for a knockdown. They'll do it right now.
About 4.5 minutes left. Cano Smith and the New England Revolution on the short end of another cup. De Rosario will put Houston in front. Trying to keep it alive there. Heaps was the man who went down for the tackle. And it was off De Rosario. Thompson. Here's Noonan. Noonan in the box, but right there, Eddie Robinson. Heaps. Taylor Twellman up.
We'll call that a corner kick. A little deflection off of Weibel.
So the corner here for New England. How many more good shots at this do they have?
We get a new look at it here. Dorman will take the corner. Everything's got to go forward. Everything's obviously back for Houston. It's all on the line now.
Revolution throw everything in. The header's blocked. Lorentowicz cannot believe it. He was down on the seat of his pants just off the goal line after it was blocked. With his head in his hands, he's also a little nicked up. But the Revolution had their chance right there. Noonan turning back inside. Up top, Norman. Oh, he wanted Joseph. It never reached him.
They dropped into that shell now, Dave. Lorentowicz looks like he's done for the day. So he's out of this one, but they're going to keep playing.
Cano Smith. Joseph. Headed and easily stopped there by Onstad.
He might jog it off, but let's take another look at that. Are you kidding me? This is like point blank. It's like you cannot believe that Onstad, I don't think he believes it himself, that he made that save. Robert Kraft is just, when is this going to end? Jonathan, his son next to him there. That looks like that might be it for Lewinowitz.
Over that right leg. Remember, it was Pat Onstad who made the penalty kick save of Jay Heap's PK last year in the final to win it.
He's just absolutely helpless. Going backwards, right at him. It's a save of his life.
Now Pat Onstad sealed the win last year. He sealed the MLS Cup. He may have just done it again in back-to-back seasons for Houston.
Lewinowitz is elected to stay out there. He's hobbling pretty bad too. It's one of those deals where the emotions getting the most of him.
Jakwa deep into the left corner. Derisario. Using his body beautifully, yes. He gave it away, but deep in that territory. The Revolution running out of time. 2-1 Houston in the 2007 MLS Cup. Avery John targeting Wells Thompson. The collision there.
That's
back out to Parkhurst.
That's what they'll do. They'll just lump it in there and see if they can get something out of it. Just hope for a knockdown. Hope for an opportunity for Twellman or Noonan to just clean up the mess. They push Heaps all the way up to center forward now, so it's just getting the guys that can get on the end of a header up in front of the net.
Desperation here for the Revolution as Connor Smith breaks away on the dribble. He's dragged down just outside the 18.
No, he's calling the first foul. The pull on the shirt from Mullen. As Connor Smith is starting to grab his cap. It's the first foul he's calling, which is this right here, the pull on the shirt. The second one really isn't anything. It's actually a fairly good tackle by Mullen. But let's take a look at this. I mean, just got to swing this into a spot. Everybody's in there. I don't even like the two-man wall. They need him back in front of their net.
Dorman will take the kick. Closing in on the end of this one. 2-1 Houston.
They've elected to put Mullen out there and see what happens with this cross now. Good one.
Right. Oh, right into the belly of Pat Onstad. 3 minutes have been added. 3 minutes of stoppage time. So the Revolution aren't dead yet.
This will be the shortest 3 minutes of Steve Nichols' career and the longest 3 minutes of Dominic Kinnear's.
Thompson room to operate here. Houston has all but 2 men back in the box on every chance here by the Revolution.
You've got to just get the ball in there. You've got enough numbers. Cross has got to be better. Good work from D-Row twice.
How about Derisario? And the second half that Dwayne Derisario has had for Houston.
What a career he's had. I mean, this is a culmination of so many things, but...
Reese moves it into the box. 2 minutes more. That's all New England has. Noonan went down. Showery Joseph can't quite get there. Derisario along with Reese. And that's too much.
Everybody's cramping up from, it looks like Showery Joseph is now pulling up. Unbelievable.
It has been a tough, sometimes brutally physical second half, and Houston has owned that second half under Dominic Kinnear. Ralston seeing another opportunity to win it all slip away for him.
About a minute left. Jacob can do something with this in the corner. Fouling's not a good idea. This will probably add a good 10-15 seconds to that final clock, so there'll be a little bit over a minute. Everything forward.
Blasts it again to the corner of the box. Dono Smith, a quick throw in here for the Revolution. A long one. He comes back to Mullen.
Jakwa coming back and helping out. It's it's just excruciating for the guys on the sidelines. You just are helpless.
Of course, not on the Houston side. They are ready to charge out onto the field here at RFK in Washington, D.C. Onstad, one keeper to another. Time running out on New England and running toward a second consecutive MLS Cup for the Houston Dynamo. And Dwayne De Rosario, again the man in the middle, with a second goal in the match for Houston. And that's it. Houston has won the 2007 MLS Cup for the second year in a row. The Dynamo are champions of American soccer. And for the third consecutive season, the New England Revolution go home heartbroken. Matt Reese with that look that says, I can't believe it has happened again.
But it has, and recognizing what this team, the Houston Dynamo, have done, let's just say it, they are a dynasty. They've traveled from San Jose, they picked up, they moved, changed all of their lives, and still were able to figure it out last year, but this team's for real. To win it back-to-back, as heartbroken as New England is, congratulations to the Orange.
The Houston Dynamo, Dwayne De Rosario, champions again. The second team in Major League Soccer history to repeat. And the team that calls this stadium home was the first one, DC United. De Rosario with the winner. And Onstad with his version of the winner with that incredible save right on the line.
They did it all. You know, they did it in every aspect of it. You see Taylor Twellman, he's fighting it off. It looks like he might even cry. It's what that guy has been through, the effort that they've tried to put into this, to just get it. You heard Matt Reese at the beginning, just one. We just want one.
That will not be today. They're still one short. The final again, 2-1 Houston beating New England in the MLS Cup. And let's go to Rob Stone and Julie Foudy, guys.
Thank you, Dave and Eric. And the sickness you feel for New England through what they've gone through, matched by really the pride you have in this Houston franchise and what they've done, what they've endured, how they've succeeded, and how they have done it. An admirable come-from-behind win. I mean, New England finds yet another way to fall in the MLS Cup. A solid opening 45. How did things change in Houston's favor in the second?
I think with Houston, what's been so impressive all year, I mean, they win the MLS Cup last year, and then they start the season 2-5-1. Yet it's as if they never panicked. They did the same thing against Dallas in the Eastern Conference semifinal. Never panicked. They stay calm, and that comes through. You know, that confidence when you go down a goal in an MLS Cup final. There was never any moment on the field you felt like those players didn't believe they could turn it around, and you saw just that. And then you have a De Rosario on the field that helps, who can pull in a clutch goal like that.
Clutch goals all over his resume right now. Dwayne De Rosario has 2 MLS goals of the year, has 2 game-winning goals in MLS Cup, also has that stunning goal a few years back in the All-Star game versus Chelsea. My money's on Dwayne De Rosario being the MLS Cup MVP. He's standing by downstairs live with Alan Hopkins.
Thanks, Rob. Dwayne, you seem to always rise up in the big games. Another big goal. Why do you always seem to score the big goals for your team in big games?
Because I have big players. It's that simple. I have big players alongside of me, and they make me the big player, and they help me score big goals, and it's all for them, man. It's all credit to the big guys that make up our team.
You scored before to win MLS Cup. How does this goal rank in terms of all the goals you scored?
Oh, man, this is a special moment. I mean, to go back-to-back, I mean, we have fans here. I don't know what to say, man. This is just an emotional moment for me, man.
Was it harder to win it last year, or was it harder to repeat as champions?
It's always hard, man. Any championship is hard. Last year was difficult. New England gave us a good fight, another good fight. And, I just have a lot of respect for New England, man. I have a lot of credit for them. I feel bad for them in a sense because, they felt like they had it. And but we know our team, and we know that we've been in this situation before. We've been in it last year, and we got out of it last year, and we got out of it this year.
Dwayne, congratulations. Go enjoy and celebrate with your teammates. Thank you, Dwayne. Rob?
And the city of Houston has yet another title in Titletown. The Dynamo take their second consecutive MLS Cup crown. They've only been in that city for 2 years. All they've done is provide Houston with 2 MLS Cup titles. What else do you want? Well, I know one thing they want, a new stadium. And that is in the works, and hopefully in the near future for this really impressive franchise. Strong support here in D.C. from the fans in Houston. A little bit longer of a road trip for them for this year's MLS Cup. Last year they just had to drive on up to Frisco to see their team win the Cup. And boy, where does this potential Dynamo dynasty go from here?
But you know what was so impressive is they said coming into this MLS Cup, they said, we don't want to just defend our title. We want to actually attack and win another title. And it was that mindset, I think, that you saw in that second half. So congratulations to Dominic Kinnear, who you see there, the coach, and to the Houston team for 2-2.
Plenty more still to come from RFK Stadium. We're going to hand out that little piece of hardware. It is a heavy sucker. MVP presentation and the MLS Cup gets handed out to Houston again. We'll have it when we return.
Orange lighting up the stage for the second year in a row at the MLS Trophy presentation. Dwayne De Rosario in the 74th minute, the game winner again from a big game performer. And Houston has won back-to-back MLS Cups, knocking off the New England Revolution by the final of 2-1. The hardest thing to do in sports is repeat as a champion. I think Rob asked the great question of Julie, where does it go from here? Most of the coaches around the league that you talked to before today's match thought, yeah, Houston is the better team. Right. They're going to win another one.
Yeah, you know what? They are a dynasty right now. I mean, this is the collection of guys who've been playing together for a long time. They've got a tremendous coaching staff who knows them almost better than they do. Their performance today was just exemplary of the way that this team has been all year. They come back from adversity. They come back from being behind. They let their stars be stars. And when guys are out like Ricardo Clark, all-stars, and Brian Ching, they have other guys to fill in the holes. They're a great team.
Well, they have D-Row, and Dwayne De Rosario again comes through. Just moments before, we were wondering when would the moment come, not necessarily if, and he comes through again in the 74th.
Yeah, and he was having a quiet game, and here's another look at our virtual replay. They go right inside the game. He does not need a lot of room, and these guys are set up pretty good defensively, right in the line. The positioning is fairly good, but just a snap header that Matt Reese can do nothing about. They're waiting for that moment. That was it. De Rosario does it again.
The Dynamo used that. A 2-1 advantage, and that propels them to another MLS Cup. So here in our nation's capital, the Dynamo are celebrating for the second consecutive year. Once again, New England is heartbroken, but champagne for Houston. Let's go down to the stage now for the presentation and Rob Stone.
Thank you, Dave. We're here with the MLS Cup winning side from Houston, the Houston Dynamo. Commissioner Don Garber on my right for the presentation of the MLS Cup Most Valuable Player Award, and it goes to who else? Game-winning goal, Dwayne De Rosario. And now, the big hardware. Commissioner Garber, the presentation.
Thank you very much, Rob. First, I'd like to congratulate the New England Revolution and the Kraft family for a great organization, great year, and a great team. I'd also like to congratulate Phil Anschutz for his commitment to our league and to the city of Houston. It's a wonderful organization and a team that's really brought tremendous excitement to the city of Houston. So now it's my pleasure to present the 2007 MLS Cup champions, the MLS Cup trophy, to the Houston Dynamo and their captain, Wade Barrett.
Real quick, Wade, you can hear me. What changed between that first half and that second half?
We just, I think came out with a renewed disciplined attitude, and this team never gives up. We didn't today, and it worked out for us.
Congratulations. Good seeing you up here again. Dom, have fun, boys. Enjoy.
Thank you,
David?
All right, Rob, thank you very much. They're going to celebrate like madmen. They did last year in Texas and here in Washington, D.C. It's the exact same scene. Barrett, the captain, holding the trophy high. Once again, Houston is the champ of Major League Soccer. Back to wrap it up in a moment. Well, time for us to wrap it up. The cup again goes to the Houston Dynamo. 2-1 the final, beating the New England Revolution, who for the third year in a row have gone to the championship, and for the third straight year, fourth time in 6 seasons, come away heartbroken. Eric Ronaldo, your final thoughts.
Well, I think, you know, we have a dynasty here that might be born today, but I want to commend both coaches and both teams. Usually these finals are a chess match. This was a brawl. It was a great game. It was a fight till the finish. It was a great season.
Once again, our final score, Houston the champs beating New England 2-1. For Eric Ronaldo, Julie Foudy, Alan Hopkins, and Rob Stone, I'm Dave O'Brien saying good day from our nation's capital.